That afternoon energy crash. It might have started with your breakfast. Your gut is still processing that first meal, shaping every craving you feel right now. Scientists call this the second meal effect, and it changes how we think about eating. Stay with us, because meal one is controlling your blood sugar all day long. So what exactly is the second meal effect, and why does science find it so remarkable? It is the discovery that your first meal programs your body's response to every meal after. Research shows this effect can last up to 12 hours after that very first bite. The key players are your gut bacteria, which ferment fiber into powerful chemical signals. Those signals are called short-chain fatty acids, and they travel through your bloodstream all day. Let's zoom in and see exactly what your gut is doing the moment after breakfast. But first, let's look at what actually breaks the second meal effect before it can help you. Culprit 1. A breakfast built on refined carbs like white bread, pastries, or sugary cereal. These foods cause a rapid blood sugar spike, flooding your system with glucose all at once. That spike feeds harmful gut bacteria, which then crowd out the good ones almost immediately. With fewer good bacteria, your gut produces less of those short-chain fatty acids we mentioned. Culprit 2 might surprise you. Skipping breakfast entirely can also disrupt your gut's rhythm. When you skip that first meal, your gut microbiome misses a critical daily programming signal. Without that signal, your gut's hunger hormones can swing more wildly at your next meal. Studies indicate that skipping breakfast may actually trigger a stronger blood sugar spike at lunch. Culprit 3 is the sneakiest one, and most people have no idea they are making this mistake. Eating a breakfast with very little fiber gives your gut bacteria almost nothing to work with. Without fiber to ferment, your gut cannot produce enough butyrate to send fullness signals to the brain. So your brain never quite gets the message that you are full, and cravings take over by afternoon. Now here is where it gets really important. What happens when this cycle breaks down for months? Every time that first meal spikes your blood sugar, your body has to work much harder to recover. Over time, research has linked repeated blood sugar spikes to increased insulin resistance in cells. And when harmful bacteria dominate after a poor first meal, low-grade gut inflammation can follow. Studies have found that chronic gut inflammation may actually make your brain freeze more sugar. When short-chain fatty acid levels fall, your gut produces fewer of the hormones that signal fullness. That means your body needs more food to feel satisfied, and portion control becomes much harder. Research also suggests a link between disrupted gut signals and mood swings in the afternoon. Your gut sends signals to your brain through a network scientists call the gut-brain connection. Research found that a high-fiber first meal may reduce the blood sugar spike at lunch by 35%. This is not a one-day problem. Each poor first meal makes the next one even harder to control. Over weeks, research suggests this cycle can reduce the diversity of your entire gut microbiome. But here is the fascinating part. Your gut has a remarkable ability to recover, and science shows how. So how do you actually activate the second meal effect and make it work in your favor? Strategy 1. Make soluble fiber the foundation of your very first meal of the day. Soluble fiber dissolves in your gut and becomes the perfect food for your beneficial bacteria. Those bacteria ferment the fiber and produce short-chain fatty acids, including a key one called butyrate. Research suggests butyrate may help regulate blood sugar responses at your next meal hours later. Strategy 2 builds on the first. Pair that soluble fiber with a solid source of protein. Protein slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach. giving your gut bacteria more time to work. This slower digestion may help smooth out the blood sugar curve, reducing the spike after eating. Studies suggest that pairing soluble fiber with protein at breakfast may lower your lunchtime blood sugar response. Strategy 3 costs nothing and takes zero extra time. It is simply the order in which you eat. Research shows that eating vegetables and fiber-rich foods first can change how your body handles carbs. When fiber lines your gut before carbohydrates arrive, the blood sugar rise tends to be much gentler. The simple order to follow: vegetables and fiber first, then protein, then starchy carbs last. Here is the part most people skip entirely, and it may be the most powerful strategy of all. Strategy 4 focuses on actively feeding the specific gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These bacteria thrive on prebiotic foods found naturally in many everyday ingredients you already have. Foods like garlic, onions, leeks, and unripe bananas are rich sources of these prebiotic compounds. When your gut bacteria ferment these prebiotic compounds, they release butyrate and trigger your fullness signals. Over time, this bacterial activity may amplify the second meal effect and improve your daily blood sugar control. Strategy 5 is about timing. Your gut has its own internal clock, and eating with it matters. Research shows that your gut microbiome is most active and responsive in the earlier part of the day. Eating your first meal during this active window may allow the second meal effect to work more powerfully. Studies suggest that delaying your first meal significantly may reduce how well your gut programs the next one. 5 strategies, each one backed by research, each one starting with a single, better first meal. So let's turn all of that science into a clear, 3-step plan you can start tomorrow morning. Step 1 starts immediately. Add 1 source of soluble fiber to your very first meal each day. Think oats, chia seeds, lentils, or beans, all simple foods that give your gut bacteria something to work. Even a small amount at that first meal may begin to shift your blood sugar pattern throughout the day. Step 2 kicks in during your first week. Start adjusting the order of what you eat at each meal. Put vegetables and legumes on your fork first, then protein, and save the starchy foods for last. Research suggests this single habit may reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes without changing what you eat. Step 3 is the long game. Bring prebiotic-rich foods into your daily routine consistently. Garlic, onions, and unripe bananas fed regularly may help build a stronger short-chain fatty acid foundation. Use your afternoon energy and hunger levels as your real-world measure of how well your gut is responding. If you have IBS or diabetes, consider discussing bigger dietary changes with your doctor first. Here is the big takeaway from everything we have explored today about your gut and how it works. Your gut does not reset after every meal. It carries the signal from your first bite all day long. The second meal effect shows us that your body is one connected system, not a series of isolated meals. When you understand the mechanism, you do not need willpower. You just need a smarter first meal. If this shifted how you think about breakfast, like and subscribe to keep exploring gut science with us.